Hello, good evening. In this very video, we are going to just see two examples on rotation of rotational motion. Okay, so in this case here, we have pulley. Actually, in both cases, it's going to be in a pulley system. In this question here, we have that a wheel and axle is caused to rotate about a horizontal axis by means of a body of mass 10 kilograms attached to a cord wrapped around the axle of radius 8 centimeter. Okay, the body falls vertically through 2 meters in 5 seconds starting from rest. Determine the moment of inertia of the wheel and axle. Okay, so we are asked to find the moment of inertia of wheel and axle. So what do we do when we see a question like this? Now, first of all, we are told that the body falls. We are told that the body falls vertically through 2 meters in 5 seconds. With that, if you look at the diagram, with that statement, we can find the acceleration of that body. You may wonder how, using the equation of motion. That means if we say S equal to ut plus half at squared, okay, we can use this. And the distance here it fell is 2 meters. The initial velocity is 0. Of course, it was not moving. So we have 0 times t plus half times a is the acceleration, which is what we are looking for, times t. That means 5 squared. Okay. So you can see here that 2 is equal to 5 squared is 25 divided by 2 gives us 12.5 a. You see that? So that means A now is going to be 2 divided by 12.5. And that is going to give us, it means that the value for A, if you use your calculator there, you are going to be getting 0.16 meter per second squared. So the value of our acceleration is 0.16 meter per second squared. Now that we've gotten the acceleration, we can find angular acceleration. Remember, we are dealing with rotational motion here, so we need to know something about the angular acceleration. Let's rub this off. And what is angular acceleration? We know that the linear acceleration is definitely going to be equal to the angular acceleration times r. For you to understand what we are doing here, you must have gone through my initial classes on rotational motion. It will give you a perfect example. Give you a perfect understanding here. Okay, so my acceleration based on what we just got now is 0.16 equal to the angular acceleration. The radius in the diagram here you can see is 8. Okay, so that means my angular acceleration is going to be 0.16 divided by 8, and that is going to give us 0.02 radians per second squared. That's the unit for angular acceleration. That means radians per second squared. Now we are also going to see here that so you can write that down. Okay, sorry. Now we are also going to see here that there is a relationship between the tension here and the weight. You notice that the weight 100 newtons is acting downwards. The mass is 10 kg, so we are given g to be 10 meter per second. So mg now, making it 10 times 10, that's how we got 100. Okay, 100 newtons. So when you look at that, you can see that there's a relationship between 100 and t. And since the object is moving downwards, you know that the resultant force acting on a body is a product of its mass and its acceleration. So that means the resultant force here will be 100 minus t. 100 is greater than t because the object is moving downward. The motion is downwards, okay? And it must be equal to mass times acceleration, a. Okay, so at this point here, it means that we are going to have 100, okay, minus t now, which is the tension, is equal to the mass is 10. The acceleration, we got it to be 0.16, if you can remember. Okay, so 100 minus t now is going to be equal to 1.6, okay? And so it means that your t now is going to be 100 minus 1.6, and That is going to give us 98.4 newtons. So 98.4 newtons is the value for the tension. But remember, in this question, we are not asked to find tension. We are asked to find the moment of inertia of the body. Now, but I also want to bring to our notice a formula with length. You can write down 98.4 somewhere. So let's write it here. T equals to 98.4. Remember that the torque, this is a circular motion, so the torque here and dealing with force. Torque is tension times radius. The tension here is the force. Actually, it's supposed to be force times radius, but here the tension is force. So tension times radius. And remember, torque is also moment of inertia times angular acceleration. Never forget this. Whenever you're dealing with torque, a rotational motion, especially that involves force. Okay, so the tension times the radius is equal to the moment of inertia times the angular velocity. Now my tension here is 98.4. It's obvious. Our radius here is 8 centimeter. Okay. Now, but this 8 centimeter now can be converted to meters. Meters. So converting it to meters is going to give us 0.08. Okay, which is going to be equal to the moment of inertia is what we are looking for times the angular acceleration. Angular acceleration, which we got to be 0.02. But I just remembered now that we didn't convert this while finding the angular acceleration, so we can do that again. Remember, we said that angular acceleration is equal to the linear acceleration all over radius. So we got the linear acceleration to be 0.16, and the angular acceleration now is 0.08, converting to meters. So that is going to give us 2 radians per second square. So please correct that. And so this is I times 2. So finally we can get, when you make I the subject of formula, we can get that our I is approximately 3.86 kilogram then meter square. That's the value for the moment of inertia. This is, how you treat questions like this. Now, but we are still going to do another example here. We have this pulley system. It says the pulley system has moment of inertia 4 kilogram meter square. Okay, block A has a mass 30 kilogram and block B has a mass 70 kilogram. Find the angular acceleration alpha of the pulleys and the tensions T1 and T2 in the cord when the blocks are released. Okay, so if you look at this now, this pulley system, first of all, you look at the weight. In a pulley system, especially when you have masses on both sides, the larger mass is what controls the movement, controls, the acceleration. And obviously, 70 kilogram here is bigger than 30 kilograms. So obviously the motion is going to be downwards this way, and while here the motion is going to be upward this way, exactly as it is seen in the diagram. Okay, so if we want to consider this mass, first of all, remember in this question we're asked to find the angular acceleration alpha of the pulley and the tensions T1 and T2. Now this is quite easy. It's going to take us quite some stress, but now consider the mass WB. Let's start with that. Now you can see, let me write that WB. Okay, so obviously the weight there is 70 times 10. So we have 70 times 10, which is equal to 700 newtons. Okay, now, and obviously you can see that it is greater than the tension T1 because it is going downward. So remember, the resultant force acting on a body is a product of its mass and acceleration. So the resultant force here now is going to be 700 minus T1, okay, is equal to the mass times the acceleration. The mass is 70 and the acceleration is a2, like we have there. Now, but if you notice, we don't have any value for a2, but we can find a2. Because if you notice here, in the question here, we're asked to find angular acceleration, so we can convert that. Don't forget that the acceleration here will be the same acceleration here. They are moving with the same acceleration, so nothing changes. So we can write that as 700 minus t1 is equal to 70 times. Now your A2 now is, remember, acceleration is angular acceleration times radius, okay? So we can now say 700 minus t1, okay, equal to 70 times radius. Our radius for here, if you notice, this is attached, the radius here is 1 meters. So times 1, 70 times 1, that will give us 70 alpha. So I would say that you can find a biro and write that somewhere down. That will give us an equation 1. So 700 minus t1 is going to be equal to 70 alpha. Okay, so write that as equation 1. Now let's see the second part of the pulley, the other part here. Sorry. Good. So we want to look at this quickly. The second part of the pulley, obviously T1 is greater than the weight A. That's because the motion is going upwards. Okay, and so in that case, we can say that T1 minus 300 newtons. Why is it 300 newtons? The weight is 30 kilograms multiplied by 10 makes it 300, equal to the mass times the acceleration. So we can say that T1 minus 300 is equal to, the mass there is 30. The acceleration we don't know, but we know that it is equal to the angular acceleration times the radius. So the radius in that case is 2. Okay, remember that A is angular acceleration times radius. Okay, so in this case now the radius is 2. That's for this. If you notice, this is attached to the bigger pulley, but here was attached to the smaller pulley. So the radius of the bigger pulley is 2 meters. So this is going to give us T1 minus 300, okay, is equal to 30 times 2 is 60. So we are going to get 60 alpha. I would also like us to write that somewhere. Sorry, that T1? That is actually supposed to be T2. Sorry, so you can arrange that here. Let's make here 2, 2, 2. So please correct that in your notes. So this should be T2, 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 okay? So in that case now, we can write that T2 minus 300 equal to 60 alpha. Now if we bring the both together, so okay, you can write that as equation 2. Now let's see, there's something else I want us to see. There's an unbalanced torque between here and here, and just like the resultant force acting on a body is equal to the product of its mass and its acceleration, in the same way the unbalanced torque acting on a body, or the resultant torque acting on a body, is equal to the moment of inertia times angular acceleration. Don't forget that the linear analog of torque is force, the linear analog of acceleration is angular acceleration, and the linear analog of mass is moment of inertia, or will I say the rotational analog. So mass in linear is moment of inertia in rotational analog. Acceleration, linear acceleration, is the analog is angular acceleration. Torque, the analog is force. Okay, so let's go there. And so the unbalanced torque now, when you consider this now, the torque here, the torque that will be experienced here is going to be, remember, torque is supposed to be equal to force times radius. So in this case now it's tension. So it's going to be T1 times R, okay? Then minus the torque on this other side is T2. Remember, you make that correction. It's going to be T2 times R. Since the radius are not the same, I can call this R1, I can call this R2, is equal to the moment of inertia times angular acceleration. Okay, so your R1 here is 1, so we are going to say T1 times 1 minus T2 times 2 is equal to the moment of inertia we are given here is 4, so equal to 4 times the angular acceleration. We don't know what the angular acceleration is, so we are going to get T1, okay, minus 2 T2 is equal to 4 alpha. So we can write that somewhere. So we say T1 minus 2T2 equal to 4 alpha. Call that equation 3. So we have 3 equations now. So writing down the 3 equations, I wrote down 700 minus T1 equal to 70 alpha. That's the first equation. The second equation is T2 minus 300 is equal to 60 alpha. Okay. Now the third equation now is T1 minus let me say 2T2 is equal to 4 alpha. So I can call this equation 1, call this equation 2, call this equation 3. Okay. Now in order not to take much of our time, we can quickly conclude that if we solve the 3 simultaneously, we are going to get T1. We're going to get T1 to be 324 newtons. You can confirm that by solving them. You can use your calculator to solve that simultaneously. And then we're going to get T2 to be 651 newtons. Then we're also going to get alpha to be, our alpha is going to be 0.50 radians per second squared. Okay. So that is how you go about that. Thank you very much. Please do not forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe to this channel, and I'm going to appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.